everyone, and welcome back to another lesson of 10.5 Actual Speaking. Welcome back. My name is Jennifer Clyde. It's time for lesson 28, and are you ready for today's topic? We'll focus on talking about school life. Now, when I say school life, I'm not just talking about middle and high school. School in general could include middle, high school, and college life as well. Okay, so we'll focus on college or university life and talk about the activities you may have taken part in class. Now, when you go to college, a lot of students, it's fun, right? It's all about experimenting and learning new things, meeting new and exciting people, perhaps even freely drinking as well. But of course, if I were to ask you about your school life outside of class, meaning outside of the courses that you have to study, what would you say? Would you say, it was fun and exciting? What else would you say? Now let's focus talking about the clubs that you may have been a member of, or even the extracurricular activities that you took part in. Okay then, are you ready? Let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. Are you ready to begin today's lesson on school life, or even better, college life? Let's talk about clubs or even extracurricular activities. I'll tell you the meaning of what that means in just a bit, but let's start brainstorming with our 5 W's and how, as always. The first, we have who. Now let's first of all think of what type of student you were in college. Who or what type of person were you in college? So once again, we're taking you back into your college days. Now, what type of person were you, meaning perhaps were you a friendly person? Were you shy? Were you introverted? Were you extroverted, meaning outgoing? So think about what kind of student you were when you were in university or college. Also, who did you participate in extracurricular activities or clubs with? Let's take a look at here. Extracurricular activities. First of all, extracurricular. Now, curriculum or curricular, basically we're talking about programs of courses at school, the courses you have to take in school, okay, the subjects you have to study, but we're talking about extra, other than those courses. So perhaps if you say extracurricular activities in school, we are talking about the activities you took part in outside of the program of courses, okay? Or clubs with. Now, here we have clubs. We have baseball clubs or soccer clubs, debate clubs, English clubs, lots of clubs in college. I think you're most familiar with the term 동아리 in Korean, right? But I think we also call them clubs nowadays. So if you want to talk about a certain 동아리 in English, just call them A club, B club, C club, okay? So who did you take part in? Who did you participate in extracurricular activities or clubs with? Let's move on to what. What was your college life outside of class like? Basically, once again, outside of class, meaning after taking classes, aside from the classes you had to take, how did you spend time? What did you do? So what was your college life outside of class like? Think about that. Maybe you can focus on what you did with your friends, okay? Just to have fun or spend time. What kind of extracurricular activities were you involved in? So talk about the activities you were involved in, okay? Activities you took part in. Once again, focusing on extracurricular activities. Now, what kinds of clubs were you a part or a member of? It's the same question, but we're talking about extracurricular activities or clubs you were a member of, okay? Moving on to another, what did you mainly do? So if you were a part of a certain club, what did the club members do, okay? What did you mainly do in that club? What kinds of academic, athletic, or social clubs were there at your university? Even if you did not take part, even if you were not a member of these clubs, think about the kinds of academic, athletic, relating to sports, or social clubs at your university. Social clubs meaning just, I guess, clubs that you get to meet people, become friends with people, and have fun. Okay, so think about academic, relating to studies, athletic, relating to sports, and social clubs relating to people, friends, okay? College friends. When did you participate in such activities, okay? Which year, for example? Of course, we're talking about your college years, so be specific. Answer in detail about which year you took part in such activities. It could have been your freshman year, your first year, your sophomore year, your second year, your junior year, the third year in college, or the very final year, your senior year in college. Think about when you took part in the activities. Also, where did the activities take place? Okay, think about the location. Was it on campus or off campus? Meaning on campus, well, on campus grounds, okay? Or off campus. You're not in school, you're off campus grounds. So think about where you actually did the activities. Moving on to why. Why did you join the club or why did you participate in the activity? Maybe because of a friend or maybe you had an interest in that club. So think about why you did that. And again, we're going to take a look at how. How did you find out about them? So how did you find out about them, meaning the clubs or extracurricular activities, right? Okay, we've got one more how question for you. How did you like the clubs or the activities you took part in university or in college? Now, I think I did stress this a long time ago during one of our lessons, but some people still ask me, well, I graduated a 4-year university, but still, can I call it a college? Yes, you can. Of course, to differentiate the two, in most cases we say, of course, a college you would graduate in 2 years, and a university usually would take 4 years to graduate. But generally, when we talk about college or university, we use them at the same time, okay? So they're interchangeable. We can call 대학교, right? Just 대학교, a 4-year university, a college as well. So think about these questions, the 5 W's and how, and continue brainstorming cues on your own as well. Now let's take you to our next segment. It's time for Actual Talk.
So I know what you studied in class, but what did you do outside of the classroom?
Well, unfortunately I didn't get to live the Animal House lifestyle.
Like John Belushi.
Yeah. I avoided the Greek system like the plague. But I was a self-supported student, so
Oh.
I had to work 2 or 3 part-time jobs all through college.
Wow, that's very admirable.
Well, just necessary in my
Okay.
case. Not really admirable, but I didn't have a lot of time to do any extracurricular activities. I did a few things. I'd occasionally meet my friends for a beer, or, I'd do my studying at a coffee shop, so I got some social interactivity.
Okay.
And I did a little bit of volunteering. I ended up teaching preschool. Just for fun, to go and play with little kids, and
Yes.
it was a lot of fun.
The preschoolers are so cute. They're
Yeah.
so innocent, and they
Yeah.
make you so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
They give you some energy.
That's true, definitely.
What about you?
Actually,
Were you a party girl?
I wasn't a party girl, but I did join a myriad of clubs and everything from like volunteering like you to the Ultimate Frisbee Club. Yes, Frisbee is really, really popular and very competitive in New England or the East Coast
okay.
in the States. But when it was 3 o'clock after classes, it was like clockwork. Okay, gotta go play Frisbee. Yeah, and it was really good for just my whole lifestyle because I got my studying done and I had to always do it before my competition. So I was able to really manage my time well because of Frisbee. Yeah, but other than that, other extracurricular activities that I did, like I said, I volunteered. I was actually a mentor at a middle school for an English language learner. So her family
Okay.
had emigrated to the States from a different country.
That's
So,
cool.
and I could kind of relate to her, and it was a really great relationship.
That sounds good.
Yeah. But did you do any extracurricular, like intramural sports clubs?
Well, actually, I was on the wrestling team at Arizona State University.
Oh, wow, okay.
And, I did that just for 1 year, but injuries stopped me.
Oh, I
And then
see.
after that, I exercised on my own and just enjoyed what little time I had.
Yeah, that's good.
So, how was the conversation between Peter and Rachel today? Did you enjoy it? Now, what do you remember from today's actual talk? Let's first of all begin with what Peter said. What kind of student was he in college? Did he engage in a lot of activities? Well, he said no. He was busy working part-time, right? Because he supported himself. He earned money to pay his college tuition. Now, but as for Rachel, she did sound like she was very active, very outgoing when she was in college because she took part in a lot of activities and many, many clubs. Okay then, let's take a look at the conversation between Peter and Rachel line by line. Now, Rachel began by saying, "I know what you studied in class." Now, of course, if you did tune in, of course, for another lesson, we know exactly what Peter studied, okay? But she asks, what did you do outside of the classroom? So outside of the classroom does not mean right outside the classroom. It means away from your courses of study, other than your studies at school, other than the classes you took at school. So that is what she is asking when she says, what did you do outside of the classroom? Now, Peter said, well, unfortunately, I didn't get to live the animal house lifestyle. What does that mean? Now, imagine an animal house. It can be any kind of animal. It can be a dog house, a cat house, a tiger house, or many, many animal, house, whatever you call it. An animal house lifestyle is a crazy lifestyle. So oftentimes a lot of animals are very outgoing, they're very active, they run around. So if you say that you lived the animal house lifestyle, you are saying that you lived a crazy and exciting lifestyle. But Peter says, I didn't get to live the animal house lifestyle. Basically meaning he didn't have the chance to really have fun when he was in college. Be crazy, right? Like a student would. And then Rachel says, like John Belushi. Well, John Belushi is an American comedian, okay? So think about that. And then he says, yeah, I stayed away from, I avoided the Greek system, like the plague, he says. The Greek system, let's say, for example, there's something called a fraternity and a sorority. It's basically clubs, okay? But they're divided into male clubs and female clubs. Now, it's very difficult to become a member of these clubs, and there are a lot of rules to abide. Anyhow, he says, I stayed away from these Greek systems or these clubs. I was a self-supported student. So self-support, what does that mean? Self-support, meaning you are supporting yourself. I think he was talking about supporting himself financially, meaning that he was a self-supported student, meaning that he earned money on his own to go to college. So if you by any chance are or did in the past earn money by doing part-time jobs to earn money to pay your tuition, you can say that you were a self-supported student back in school. Now, he says, so I had to work 2 or 3 part-time jobs. Wow, that's many. All through college, meaning from my freshman year all the way up to my senior year when I graduated. So he basically did not live a crazy lifestyle. He was busy studying and also working part-time or doing part-time jobs all throughout college. And she says, wow, that's very admirable. Now let's take a look at this word. You can admire someone, right? Admire. But take a look at this. It's admirable, not admirable. The stress goes right there on the first syllable. So it's admirable. Admirable. Good job. Let's move on. He says, well, just necessary in my case. In my case. He says, it was necessary. I had to do it. I had no choice. It was necessary in my case, meaning, well, I had to support myself. I had to work many or do many part-time jobs. He says, but I didn't have a lot of time to do any extracurricular activities. So he didn't have much time to engage in these activities. He says, I did a few things. I'd occasionally meet my friends for a beer, or I do my studying at a coffee shop. So I got some social interactivity. So once again, he's saying he was very busy working part-time, but he did squeeze in some time to get together with friends to have maybe a beer, and he studied at coffee shops off and on. So he says, so I got some social. Now remember, social means that it's relating to people, right? Interaction. Interactivity means, right, relationships, communicating with others. So he was able to hang out with some friends, have a social life. Moving on, he says, and I did a little bit of volunteering. Yes, do volunteering or do volunteer work. I ended up teaching preschool. Now, preschool is a school that little girls and boys go to before kindergarten, okay? So he taught at a preschool, or he taught preschool just for fun, okay? To go and play with the little kids. And he says it was a lot of fun. They give you energy. Yeah, little girls and boys give you energy. And then he asks, what about you? Were you a party girl? Okay. A party girl would pretty much live an animal house lifestyle. So do you get the picture? A party girl is a girl that really has a lot of fun, that goes to lots of parties and hangs out with friends, drinks a lot, and just has fun, okay? So he asks, were you a party girl? What did Rachel say? She said, no. Actually, I wasn't a party girl, but I did join a myriad of clubs. A myriad means a large number of. Simply put, many, many. So she joined many clubs, everything from volunteering to the ultimate frisbee club. So she's talking about the clubs that she took part in. So she took part in a volunteering club and a frisbee club. And then she says when it was 3 o'clock, okay, after classes, it was like clockwork. If you say that something is like clockwork, now, how does time pass? How does a clock work? Okay, it of course continues to go around and around and around, right? Does not stop usually. So if you say something is like clockwork, you are saying that something happens at a regular pace. We're talking about regularity, okay? So she say at 3 o'clock after classes, as always, regularly, she would say, I gotta go play frisbee. It was really good for my whole lifestyle. Why? Because, or 'cause, I got my studying done and I did it before my competitions. So she's saying that because she was a member of the Frisbee Club, she had to be there to compete with others or practice. She got her studies done before the competitions. So yeah, it was good for her whole lifestyle. She says, so I was able to manage my time well because of Frisbee. So she's saying that it helped her out a lot. Other than that, like I said, I volunteered. So she's saying what else she did. I was actually a mentor at a middle school for an English language learner. And she explains about her. Her family had emigrated or immigrated. Actually, you can use both of these, but Rachel actually said emigrated. To emigrate, you may all know, it means to leave your native country to live or reside in a foreign country, in another country, okay? So you could say her family had emigrated, or immigrate means, that's right, to enter or come into this country to live. In that case, you're also leaving your home country. So she says, so I could kind of relate to her. Now, relate to someone means to really be able to connect and understand. So, say for example, if I broke up with my boyfriend, okay, example, and I know that how it can be very, very difficult. I know all about the heartaches, and somebody else breaks up with her boyfriend and tells me about it. I can say, yeah, I know how it feels. I've been in your shoes. Okay, I've been in your boat. I know exactly what you're talking about. In that case, if you understand what the other person has gone through or is going through, you can say, I relate to him or her. You could relate to that person, meaning you understand that person. Anyhow, Peter says that sounds good. And she says, yeah, did you do any extracurricular intramural sports clubs? Intramural, that might be a new word. Intramural basically means a club, we're talking about a club that only allows students from the same school or college. So we're talking about extracurricular sports clubs that only allows students from that school to take part in, okay? It's like school clubs only. Well, actually, I was on the wrestling team. He says he was on the wrestling team at Arizona State University, and I did that just for 1 year. So he's saying he did it for 1 year, but injuries stopped me. So injuries stopped me, meaning he got injured and he decided to stop wrestling. And then after that, I exercised on my own and just enjoyed what little time I had. So basically he's saying, of course, he did take part in a club or extracurricular activities or intramural sports clubs, but he had to quit. He had to leave the team because of injuries, but he did enjoy exercising on his own. All right, everyone, that was a lot of things to study. Hope you listened to the actual talk conversation once again. This time, check out the subtitles.
So I know what you studied in class, but what did you do outside of the classroom?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get to live the Animal House lifestyle.
Like John Belushi.
Yeah. I avoided the Greek system like the plague. But, I was a self-supported student, so
Oh.
I had to work 2 or 3 part-time jobs all through college.
Wow, that's very admirable.
Well, just necessary in my
Okay.
case. Not really admirable, but I didn't have a lot of time to do any extracurricular activities. I did a few things. I'd occasionally meet my friends for a beer, or, I'd do my studying at a coffee shop, so I got some social interactivity.
Okay.
And I did a little bit of volunteering. I ended up teaching preschool. Just for fun, to go and play with little kids. And
Yes.
it was a lot of fun.
The preschoolers are so cute. They're
Yeah.
so innocent, and they
Yeah.
make you so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
They give you some energy.
That's true, definitely.
What about you?
Actually,
Were you a party girl?
I wasn't a party girl, but I did join a myriad of clubs and everything from like volunteering like you to the Ultimate Frisbee Club. Yes, Frisbee is really, really popular and very competitive in New England or the East Coast
okay.
in the States. But when it was 3 o'clock after classes, it was like clockwork. Okay, gotta go play Frisbee. Yeah, and it was really good for just my whole lifestyle because I got my studying done and I had to always do it before my competition. So I was able to really manage my time well because of Frisbee. Yeah, but other than that, other extracurricular activities that I did, like I said, I volunteered. I was actually a mentor at a middle school for an English language learner. So her family
Okay.
had emigrated to the States from a different country.
That's
So,
cool.
and I could kind of relate to her, and it was a really great relationship.
That sounds good.
Yeah. But did you do any extracurricular, like intramural sports clubs?
Well, actually, I was on the wrestling team at Arizona State University.
Oh, wow, okay.
And, I did that just for 1 year, but injuries stopped me.
Oh, I
And then
see.
after that, I exercised on my own and just enjoyed what little time I had.
Yeah, that's good.
Now, we learned a lot of great expressions in the conversation between Peter and Rachel, but let's check out some additional expressions you can use when talking about today's topic. We're focusing more towards clubs and activities you were a part of or a member of in college. So first of all, we've got clubs and activities. In this category, we'll learn about, ways to talk about what you really enjoyed, what you had fun doing. So you can say in college, I was involved in a myriad of academic clubs. This is exactly what Rachel said, right? She was involved in, she joined a myriad of clubs. Once again, a myriad of something means many, many, a large number of something. So if you were involved in many different kinds of clubs, you can say in college, I was involved in a myriad of so-and-so clubs. In this case, it's academic, so you're saying, well, perhaps studying clubs, okay? Now, writing poetry was my kind of after-school activity. This is another way of saying that you enjoyed something, you had fun doing something. Something was my kind of after-school activity. It means it was your style, okay? It was your taste. It was of your liking. What you liked, my kind of. I think in Korean we say 나의 스타일, 내가 좋아하는 것. In English you would say my kind of something. I was often drawn to, as we all know, attracted to, attending political lectures on weekends. So once again, pay attention to drawn to. We're now talking about what you enjoyed doing or taking part in. Another one, I devoted. Devote an hour a day at a soup kitchen. So when you say you devote your time, it means you are giving your time. Okay? Devote can mean to concentrate on something, to focus on something, but also in this case, if you say that you devoted your time, like an hour a day, at something or to do something, it means you are giving an hour of your time. Now, we have a soup kitchen. What is a soup kitchen? A soup kitchen is not really a restaurant or a kitchen that makes soup, but it's actually a soup kitchen, or what we call a soup kitchen. It's a restaurant or perhaps even a booth, or it can be a truck or a bus. And basically people, they prepare food for others that are in need, okay, for free sometimes, okay? They're giving away food to the poor, for example. That is a soup kitchen. You're giving away food for free to help others. Now, by far the most stimulating activity outside of class was my tennis intramurals. 자, 아시죠? Intramurals, involving students of one school only, but say by far, without a doubt, the most stimulating activity was so-and-so. The most exciting, okay? The most stimulating activity was, so keep these patterns in mind as well. I was always engrossed in something. Practicing piano after class every day. So once again, if you're engrossed in something, you are absorbed in something. You are very, very interested in something. Here, I would often get carried away at various exhilarating debates after my history class. Here we have carried away. You are swept away. You're taken away at various exhilarating, meaning exciting, stimulating activities or debates after my history class. Okay, I was intrigued by. This is also, you're very attracted by something, you're interested in that, and you are very inspired by something. By so many interesting causes I can help out with around campus. So pay attention to these expressions, everyone. Intrigued by something. Now let's move on to activities you enjoyed with friends, with others, with friends. You can say, I had a close circle of friends that were fascinated by science experiments. Talk about your friends that you were very tight with, very close to. A circle of friends, meaning a group of friends, okay? Moving on, my friend and I attended a match club at 3 every day like clockwork. Here we have it once again, like clockwork, meaning, okay, on a regular basis. Boom, it's a certain time and you have to be there. But here, a match club is basically a club where you compete with other teams, okay? So if you are playing games against each other, competing each other in teams, you can call any of that a match club. All right, let's move on. Now, I followed the crowd and signed up for an internship program. If you want to talk about a time when everybody else did something, so that is why you did it, you can say, I followed the crowd and signed up for an internship program, or I followed the crowd and played soccer. I followed the crowd and took part in a debate club. All right, let's move on. You can say, my roommate and I were members of an English club, debate club, or even volunteer club. So keep in mind, you can call any of these 동아리s once again a club as well. And one final one, everyone. Now, more often than not, I just chilled with my roommate. More often than not means mostly, usually, generally. What did you do? I chilled with my roommate, meaning you did not really do anything special, nothing active. You just maybe stayed in your room and just talked with your friend. If you want to say that you really didn't do anything special, you can say, I chilled. I just spent time with my friend. Okay, those are today's actual talk expressions, everyone. Practice them on your own and make them yours. It's once again time for our fun, relaxing segment, everyone. Time for idiom of today's lesson. Now, today we are talking about clubs and extracurricular activities you can take part in college, right, in university. So today's idiom is related to perhaps school, campus. It is big woman or big man on campus. Now, it's often shortened and called BWOC for big woman on campus, and for big man on campus, it's BMOC as well. Of course, it's very informal. Guess what it means? Here is a sentence. Jessie always acts like such a big woman on campus. I can't stand her. I can't stand her. She's so snobby. She thinks she's all that. Do you get an idea? Now, a big woman or a big man on campus basically means, here is the definition. In Korean, it would be 대학교, 학교에서 가장 인기가 많은 남학생 혹은 여학생. I think we often say 퀸카, 킹카, right? So that is basically it. An important or self-important female or male college student. Someone that's very popular. All right, let's check out another sentence using big woman or big man on campus. I know from experience that dating the big man on campus almost always leaves you with heartaches. I think in many cases it's true. You often date the best looking guy in college, I don't know, the most popular girl in college, and many times, oftentimes, people end up with broken hearts, with heartaches, right? So here's the sentence one more time. I know from experience, 겪어봤다는 얘기예요, that dating the big man on campus almost always leaves you with heartaches. Okay, that is all for today's idiom, everyone. And let's move on to our next segment.
Discuss in detail about your college life outside of class. What are some extracurricular activities you were involved in? Talk about your academic, athletic, or social clubs you participated in.
As much as studying is important in your college life, doing other things is also important in your college life. I joined the foreign club in my school where I can meet a lot of foreign friends, where I learned my French and exchanged cultures with them. And also, I joined the health club at school where I could get a cheaper price than other health clubs, and I tried to stay fit by doing yoga. And last of all, I joined the bicycle crew where I met a lot of friends who liked riding bicycles, and we went to different places, and it was an adventure for me since I liked traveling a lot. So by doing these three things in college life, I was able to maintain my health and meet a lot of new people.
So how was the interview? I think it was wonderful. Great job, and thank you to Kam Kyung-min. Thank you very much for the interview. Very difficult name to pronounce, anyhow. Okay, what did she say? She sounded like she kept herself busy in school, right? She took part in, or she was a member of several clubs. She was a member of a health club in school, a biking crew, and also a foreign club. I think they mainly spoke French, right, and exchanged cultures with each other. So let's check out what she said. It's super great that she said, as much as studying is important in your college life, doing other things is all so important in your college life. Now, one thing I do want to point out here is though, now I did put it in parentheses. It was repeated. She said, in your college life, and then once again in your college life. So it would have been much better if you had taken that part out. So once again, as much as studying is important, doing other things is also important in your college life. Wonderful job. Here's another one. So by doing these 3 things, I did mention she was a member of the biking crew, health club, and a foreign club. In college life, I was able to maintain my health and meet a lot of new people. So she's talking about the advantages, the benefits, what she was able to gain from her experiences. Let's move on to a few oopsies. She said, I joined the foreign club in my school where I can meet a lot of foreign friends, where I learned my French and exchanged cultures with them. Well, if you take a look at this, it may not at first glance look wrong, but there is a way to make it simpler. Let's check out how you can do that. See, got shorter. I joined the foreign club in my school where I met a lot of foreign friends, learned French, and exchanged cultures. So you're talking about what you did. These 3 experiences, the 3 benefits, you could just talk about them naturally and comfortably, okay? Met a lot of friends, learned French, and exchanged cultures. Another one, and last of all, I joined the bicycle crew where I met a lot of friends who liked riding bicycles. And we went to different places, and it was an adventure for me since I like traveling a lot. Now, oftentimes, when you want to keep on talking, when you stress yourself or pressure yourself to keep continuing on and on and on, you will most likely go on and just add and. You have to know where to stop and then start a new sentence, okay? So let's check out how we can simplify this. You can say, and last of all, I joined the bicycle crew where I met a lot of friends who liked riding bicycles. And that's it. Make it a sentence and then start a new sentence. Talk about what you did. We went to different places and it was an adventure for me since I like traveling a lot. Okay, all right. So remember, just try not to go on and on and on, okay? Make it simple and easier for the other person to understand what you are trying to tell them. Break up the long sentence into 2 sentences or even 3 sentences. Practice doing this on your own. All right, that is a wrap for today's interview. I really hope that today's lesson was helpful, and I really do hope that the expressions we went over today will be helpful in the future when you talk about, of course, school activities or even school clubs. Well, to be exact, college clubs or extracurricular activities. Now, I was able to remind myself of my school days, of my college days. I even thought about my college professors, wonderful people, and my college friends. I hope you were able to walk down memory lane. Okay, everyone, that is all for today. During our next lesson, we're also going to be talking about a certain activity. Now, it's not related to school. We'll focus on online activities. So think about what kinds of activities you enjoy doing on the internet or online, okay? That's to come next time. In the meantime, you are more than welcome to come to our homepage. Find your way over to www.ebse.co.kr and type in or search Tennipo Actual Speaking and leave some comments, questions, posts, anything. You are more than welcome to swing by. Okay, everyone, until next time, take care and bye for now.